Hey, what's up guys? John Farrell here, Lone and Behold, and I am sitting here with Keven Stirdivant, the one and only KS, a true friend of mine, and somewhat of a life coach. And if I'm having a bad day, I'm always calling you, which I'm sorry about, man. But
I'm happy to help. We all go through it.
So Keven is the founder and president of KASE Real Estate. Some interesting facts that I know you're not gonna probably sharing is you've closed over 1.3 billion in sales. Yeah. Just last year alone, it was 350 million in closed sales. How many families is that?
A couple hundred. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of disclosures, a lot of inspections, a lot of energy, but we're blessed, man. We're super grateful and just happy to be here. It is crazy kind of hearing the numbers because we don't, you're just, as you know, we're just in it.
Yeah.
And then you don't really stop until kind of the end of the year and you look back and it's like.
Well, I don't, so you know what, you're such an amazing family, man. I of course I follow you on Instagram. Yeah. But you've got 4 beautiful kids.
5. Eliana was baby number 5.
So I'm totally wrong. Okay, so 5 kids.
5 kids, I know.
An amazing, beautiful wife who's an entrepreneur and amazing. But how do you even juggle all that around with not only managing all your real estate agents, the company, doing your own production, but being such an inspiring and loving father to your kids? That's
it's
crazy.
Just an act on social media. My kids hate me now. We make time for whatever is important to us.
Yeah.
So we prioritize what's important to us. If Alana and I aren't good, I can't work. And I know that. So I have to put her at the forefront of and our relationship, right? That's key. Same thing with my relationship with God. If that's off, what am I working for?
Right.
So prioritizing what's really important. And like today, it's Thursday morning. You'll see if you follow me on social. I work from home. I don't go to the office. Every other day I'm at the office at 8 a.m. team meeting, all that stuff. But Thursdays I've chosen as my day to just have breakfast with the family. I'm still awesome. On the grind by 10 o'clock, right? It's about 10 o'clock now.
Yeah.
And so, there's certain things that I prioritize, but you prioritize those things, you time block those things. You hit me up yesterday, on Wednesday night, I've got date night.
No, so I called, I remember this was months ago, I was having a really bad morning, and I called you up, I'm like, Keven, and you could sense it in my voice. You're like, hey, Farrell, I'll call you after a certain point today.
Yeah, 12:01. So I don't deal with drama before 12. There's gonna be a lot of drama through every day. Yeah. It's just that I have to protect my mornings for my own personal goals. I heard a top producer say at some seminar like a decade ago, he just goes, the world could wait until 12:01. Because if you don't take focus and take control of your own goals and your vision, then you're gonna deal with everyone else's agenda for your life. So prospecting at a high level is very important to me. And so I don't get caught up in the fires that are taking place when you're balancing 100 or so transactions. There's fires left and right. And I have a team that's gonna be dealing with a lot of those things, and my team is gonna try to reach out to me because sometimes they forget. But I'm pretty disciplined in keeping my mornings dedicated to the future, dedicated to prospecting, dedicated to high-level, high-energy conversations. 12:01, we gotta get that fire hose out, But we gotta do that. We gotta do that to move the business forward.
Right.
Yeah.
So the question I get from a lot of my clients is, what's gonna happen this year? So what do you think, based on your experience, is gonna happen, or what do you think is gonna happen in real estate in 2022?
I think that, we have history to go off of, right? And I think when you go back 100 years, we see a 5 to 7 year up, 5 to 7 year down. We kind of see that trajectory. And from what I've experienced in my own career, I got to experience that 2003 to 2006, just crazy. And then 2007 to 2011, those 5 years just tanked. That was difficult. There were homes that I sold for $800,000 in 2006 that I had to short sale in 2008.
Oh man.
You know, we went through that. And then 2012, there was a shift. So the crazy thing is, when we look at that, how long has that shift occurred? Last year was the 10th year. 10 years of 10%, 15%, 10%. You know, it's just crazy to look at that. You know, like, man, I wish I could have bought more real estate in 2012.
You and me both.
So the thing to consider is that at the end of all this, the 10th year, we saw a 20% increase in property value. Right? If your home was worth $1 million, in January it was worth 1.2 at the end of the year. If it was worth $5 million in January, it was worth $6 million at the end of the year.
Wow.
We saw people who sold at the end of 2020 for 5.6, 5.5, and at the end of 2021 sell for 6.7 without doing anything to their home. We look at the investment that I helped you make in the middle of 2020. Dude, that's close to double.
Yes, thank you, by the way.
Double.
Thank you.
Right? And so in looking at 2022, I don't think we're going to see another 20% increase in property value. I think we're going to see what we may be more accustomed to, and considering we've already gone up so far, I think we're going to see a 3 to 5% increase.
Which is a good thing.
Dude, that's awesome.
20% every year is not it's not sustainable. That's not really a good thing for real estate.
I live in Mesa Verde.
Right.
And the standard homes are a nice home. There's multiple homes that are not on the golf course that are selling in the mid 2 million range.
Wow.
What? You know, that's fairly inland, right? It's not, Costa Mesa doesn't have an oceanfront community, right? We're talking about a suburban neighborhood, and homes on the golf course are hitting 3 million plus.
So leading to that, what advice would you give to the real estate agents out there, or even the home buyers out there, on managing the challenges and really meeting their goals in 2022?
If you're an agent, you know, what do you have to do? You got to hustle more than ever. You have to pick up the phone more than ever. You got to prospect more than ever. You got to reach out to other agents who may have pockets more than ever. If you're a buyer, right, you got to make sure you have the right agent. Right. You know, you got to make sure that you're aware of things that are coming soon. And I think you have to not be attached.
Well, I'm glad you said that. So what advice do you give to the homeowners as far as when they're interviewing agents? What should they be looking for?
Me. No, like experience.
What would experience? Is that number of years in the business, or is it experience in the area?
I think, yes. I think just experience in an area is important, but you know, I'm in the middle of an escrow right now in Reseda. How many times have I been to Reseda? You know.
Where is Reseda?
Reseda is where Karate Kid lived.
Oh, yeah.
There. That's deep.
Yeah.
Right? So I think when you're looking for a listing agent, you have to make sure that that individual has a lot, right? What is a lot? I don't know, at least 30 listings over a period of 12 months. Right? That's a lot. I think that experience is going to elevate the kind of results that you get. So they don't have to be from your local area. I think any agent that sold 30 deals in the last year, listing specifically, that's a high-level player. Right. That's an amazing agent. You know, so I think you should talk to a couple of those agents for sure. And I think you should really look at their ability to their list price to sales price ratio. Look at those stats. Specifically ask them, can you show me your list price to sales price ratio? Can you show me what your average days on market is? And then make sure that they have a very in-depth understanding of your personal property value, right? That is where having a local specialist is. If you've never sold homes in Newport Beach, you may not understand the difference of Dover and East Bluff and the Heights, right? If you never sold a home in Laguna Beach, you may not understand the difference of Top of the World to Arch Beach Heights or to 3 Arch Bay, or the difference, you know, there's differences in value depending on the area.
The last question I have for you is, honestly, your brand that you built is amazing. I mean, when I think about KASE, I think about out of the box. I know when you listed Flamingo, our previous house, we didn't have just like a normal sign. Like you didn't even tell us about, this wasn't even, hey, I'm gonna create this sign.
That was a good one.
You create
the one that got away.
The one that got away. That sign was, like, for us, was I'm like, this guy is really thinking out of the box. He really cares about the sale of our home. The KASE brand, I mean, you created that brand. It was, I don't know, it was years ago, but you've really, I know you were at Keller at one point.
Yep.
But even when you were at Keller, I just knew KASE.
Yeah.
You did a really good job of building your own brand.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what happened, right, is it was, I was gonna leave real estate at the end of 2011. I sold $4 million in real estate. I had 3 kids at that time.
$4 million?
$4 million total.
A year?
So take $4 million and times that by 2.5%.
Yeah.
Plus you pay this person and you pay this person with 3 kids in Orange County, that's tough. I had already left the business once in 2007. And my dad passed away in January 2012, and we had the same name, and so he was only 50. So when you see your own name on funeral papers, it really rocks you.
Wow.
And I started to think about, like, what am I leaving behind?
Yeah.
I didn't like my career, right? I didn't like myself, to be honest, and it was at the end of a 5-year recession, and I was wrestling with a lot of stuff. And what I want to encourage people, and this is something I heard from Will Smith, is the double R's, that any problem in the world you have, you can rely on these 2 R's, and it's reading and running, right?
Wow.
Reading, because any problem that's out there, there's 1 million people who wrote a book on it. My sobriety, it took me a lot of reading and therapy to finally get sober. I'm be 6 years sober this April, and
that's amazing, man.
And then he said running, and so I wasn't into reading at that time in 2000.
Physically running?
Running, he said, because if you can quiet that voice in your mind that's trying to get you to stop, you can overcome anything. And so I got into running right after my dad passed away. And I was just thinking about why I got into real estate. He has a lot to do with it, but also my firstborn son, Eli. And I saw my dad's initials, which are KAS, and then I thought about Eli.
Yeah.
And I just saw it. I was literally on a treadmill. And then I talked to my mentor, Thatch, and I didn't know that KASE was gonna be a real estate company. I just knew I wanted to do something with it. And what my mentor, Thatch, asked me, he said, if you could have it any way, what would your real estate company look and feel like and stand for? And see, I had never been into real estate from that space. It was strictly survival. I had a kid when I was 18 and I needed to find a way to make money, right? That type of entry into something.
Right.
I don't know, for me, it wasn't giving me that right joy to stay in it. When I shifted my perspective and said, what would it look like if I could have it anyway, changed everything.
Dude, that's powerful, man.
It changed everything. And so in 2012, I'm like, you know what? I want to focus on mid-century modern. I want to sell 1 million homes. I want to stop separating this life coach guy and a real estate guy. I want to put that together.
Wow.
I want KASE to be a real estate and personal development company where we work with people on their big dream in life, period. And we also can work with you on your dream home.
That's awesome.
So I wanted it, and I wanted to have my own thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, I would really just encourage people to think about, if you could have it anyway, what is your brand about? Is it flipping? Do you work with investors? Do you have a specific niche in architecture? Do you focus on luxury? Are you the pet-friendly realtor? Like, what's authentic to you?
So when someone asks you, so what industry are you in? Do you say I'm in real estate? I know you. Well, there's you probably
development.
But now that you've changed that, your passion about real estate, it probably comes out a little differently.
Personal development, because I have another company called Project Mindset, and that's like the passion project, right? We just brought it back to life, but I've always had Project Mindset since 2008.
Yeah.
And so, it's a podcast. It's our division that gives people coaching. We're working on books, we're working on seminars, we're working on amplifying the podcast.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, and one other thing, and this is just a compliment. This guy on social media is, if you don't follow him, you got to check him out, because it's OG original stuff, and it's entertaining. You can watch it all the way through. So real estate, I see a lot of videos, and it'll be, you know, about the house, and it's kind of like a generic video where it's got the generic music and you know, it's showing the beautiful parts about the house. But you kind of create this whole story around the house. Somehow you know how to capture the audience and bring them in, and like,
well, I think you have to have fun, right? Like, different people have their own style of doing things, but I think it's easy to get kind of caught up in, okay, I gotta use this song, and the drone flies in here, and yeah, sometimes you just gotta make a regular real estate video. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think if you're inspired to, right? If you feel like you have to do this, then it's probably not your right thing. But if you're inspired to, when we come up with these ideas or come up with this concept for just a listing sign, we do that because we're inspired.
You mentioned one thing earlier, and this comes to like the first-time home buyers, because you know California is, I mean, it's really, really expensive right now. And you know, there's probably some younger families that live in Newport, maybe they're renting, and it's, to buy your first house in Newport's really tough. I know you had mentioned, you know, in your earlier days of selling real estate, you hadn't really broken into the $1 million market. You were working in some, you know, outlier areas that, you know, the price points were lower. But you started out there with the vision to get here. What advice or what inspiration could you give those first-time home buyers that maybe need to start in a, you know, a certain area to slowly move up into their area where their goal is?
You got to do what you can with what you've got, right? Maybe you're not able to buy a home that you're going to live in right now. Can you start building your portfolio through investment properties? Right? What we have earned on our Airbnbs, because now that's a big passion of ours, on our, you know, we own a couple homes in Big Bear, Lake Arrowhead. We just sold our investment property in
insane
Montana.
homes too.
You know, these are safe investments. Like when I look at the numbers of a $400,000 investment we made in Big Bear, dude, it's crazy. You do the math. Like, we haven't had a month. Our mortgage is maybe $1,700. And the slowest month we've had, even in the summer in Big Bear, was like $3,000. In December, it made over $13,000. So if you start off with that, and now that $400,000 investment, by the way, is now worth $650 now. So now we have equity, and so if we wanted to, we could pull that equity out, and now we can afford.
And you're making a really good return on that Airbnb.
Oh, and we have a vacation home when no one's to go to.
Yeah.
So I would just, you know, don't pigeonhole yourself into thinking that your first home has to be in Eastside Costa Mesa. Maybe it doesn't make sense anywhere in Orange County. Or if you can, maybe you should look in Orange. Dude, there's rad little pockets there. Santa Ana. You know, look for those deals. The heart of the deal is your mortgage person. The heart of the deal. There's a lot of real estate agents and there's a lot of mortgage people. Look, make sure you have a mortgage person that you can trust, and make sure you have a real estate agent that can help you even if you're gonna buy in Nashville, right? Find connections for you somewhere else. I actually would not recommend buying real estate out of state also if you are.
You've had some experience with that?
That's just my own personal experience. When you're starting off, I would recommend being a bit closer to it. But again, back to these first-time home buyers, like, be patient, and you think your very first home is like the end all. It's not.
It's not.
It's not. So just, if you can't get something for you to live in, then consider Idlewild. Consider Joshua Tree. Consider Lake Arrowhead, where you can at least have an investment that's making you money and building equity. We just bought 8.5 acres in Ukaipa.
Crazy. Well, hey, I wanted to thank you so much. I mean, you know, you're a great friend. You're an inspiration to a lot of us. I come to you all the time for real estate questions, and you come to me sometimes. I appreciate it. But thank you very much, you guys. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, dude.
Absolutely.